we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe, and also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Welcome to Skiba News Nation, bringing you unfiltered views, news, interviews, discussions, and more. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Skiba, award-winning musician and son of Rob Skiba.
With the son of the legendary Rob Skiba. Jeremiah Skiba, what's up?
With my great and insightful co-host, Mr. Jake Graham. It's like they don't even want to wake up.
He's on a quest for truth.
The government filled with a bunch of reptiles and a bunch of pedophiles. Side check. We don't know, never make it to a trial with trafficking a child. Side check. You don't want to be scrutinized in the government or you'll be suicided. You and I both know all the truth they're hiding when they're using Biden. Fact check. The CIA killed MLK and JFK both. Fact check. The moon landing wasn't real, it was all a hoax. Fact check. Big Pharma putting profits over every single damn patient. Fact check. We all know that birds ain't real, they're just government surveillance. Fact check. Rap labels been profiting off of the prison system and jails. Fact check. We all breathe in chemicals every single day from chemtrails. Fact check. Everybody know Michelle Obama was a man and never was pregnant. Fact check. We all know that Barack Obama was really born out in Kenya. Fact check. Who decides what is real and what is cap? Who decides what is fake and what is fact? They censor someone that you hate and then you clap. But they're coming for you next. It's a trap. Who decides what is real and what is cap? Who decides what is fake and what is fact? They censor someone that you hate and then you clap. But they're coming for you next. It's a trap. Come on, man, the earth is flat. It's not round.
Yeah.
Bush knew them towers were gonna get knocked down. I'll be right with just about everything I said. Tupac alive in Cuba, man, he isn't dead. We've been overseas killing kids with Crohn's. MK Ultra failed, Kanye West a clone. The government spying on you in your home. They tracking all of us on every single phone. Humans didn't build the pyramids. Men cannot get a period. The left just wants to eliminate all borders. This whole agenda is support the new world order. Who decides what is real and what is cap? Who decides what is fake and what is fact? They censor someone that you hate and then you clap. But they're coming for you next. It's a trap. Who decides what is real and what is cap? Who decides what is fake and what is fact? They censor someone that you hate and then you clap. But they're coming for you next. It's a trap.
Hey Skiba News Nation family, welcome to episode 110 of Skiba News Nation, your weekly source of the latest news, controversial topics, conspiracies, forgotten history, and so much more. I'm your host Jeremiah Skiba, and today we're going to be talking about Jake will be live the presidential inauguration, California wildfires, FDA Super Checks, on an all-new Opus Corner, and for History's Mysteries, we'll be talking about the dark history of the Bush family, unveiling secrets, scandals, and mysteries. Please excuse my sense of humor, Volume 9, memes, and much more. Now, as always, I'd like to introduce my great and insightful co-host, Mr. Jake Graham. What did you think of that song? Wasn't that dope?
That was very dope. I really appreciate that. I've been in a very musical mood lately, Jeremiah, as you guys will see shortly. Like, things our wildest imaginations could dream up as we're joking with the boys, and then it turns out we can make it a reality, and and now it's a show and tell thing instead of just a let's theorize the funniest thing I can come up with.
Well, I do want to give a shout out to the guy that made that. It's High Res TV, and he has a bunch of awesome songs like that. So if you look him up on YouTube, it's the @ symbol and then HIREZ TV. So hopefully he allows us to keep this in there, and he'll come on the show because I really like what he's doing. So you got some current news for me, Jake?
Oh, yes, but first I had a couple things for everybody. First of all, before I share something fun and interesting, I wanted everybody to know that I'm trying to raise some money for my brother. He's had epilepsy for the past 2 years, kind of sudden onset thing, and he's trying to get some doctors that actually know kind of what they're doing to take a look at his case because the doctors that they've had are failing him. So they're raising some money for a trip to Mayo Clinic. And if you're interested in supporting my brother Caleb, go over to GoFundMe and support Caleb's journey for healing today. We're almost to the goal of $5,000, just a couple hundred more bucks. And I know you guys are family, and so just putting the call out there for the need, and we love you guys. Appreciate all your help and support. Thank you for helping my brother.
The link will be down in the description. Make sure everybody knows that for sure.
Hey, and now that I've shared that, I have something, a little pet project I've been working on, and you definitely got to help fund my brother's recovery journey so he can watch this video one day as well. Caleb, if you're watching, you're going to need to close your eyes for this one, buddy. Simply Prodigal's Sincere for Ya collaboration. And this is a teaser for a music video coming very soon for a new song. Hope you guys enjoy. Check this out.
Procrastinating profit, procrastinating profit, procrastinating profit. Wicked men build religions to blind you. Dig a grave so nobody can find you. Buried alive inside of their lies. Nickel and dime to bind all your time, so that you can find the truth.
Apart from me, I never knew you. Harsh words, your host should said it first. I just know the verse, but I will advise you should repent while there's still time. You're running out of time.
Wicked men build religions to blind you. Dig a grave so nobody can find you. Buried alive inside of their lies. Nickel and dime to bind all your time, so that you can find the truth. So that you can find the truth. So that you can find the truth. So that you can find.
Very awesome, bro. Bravo.
Oh, thank you. Hey,
I
this
love
is
it.
a Skiba News Nation exclusive, because nobody else in the world will get to see that before our audience, bro. So that's just a little teaser for you guys. That's all the little creative projects I had to share for this week, but we have some really interesting news. Let's get into it.
All right, man. Let's get into it.
All right, guys, this week we're covering some very important information. We're leading up to the January 20th inauguration. I will be on the ground there recording for Skiba News Nation live in Washington, D.C. So, guys, look forward for some of those clips. But this week we're going to be looking into the California wildfires that have completely destroyed Los Angeles and Hollywood as we know it. So some of the footage we're going to cover is conspiratorial. How did these fires start? Was this an intentional fire? We have some prophetic messages from a variety of places, some from pastors decades ago predicting the fall of California's Hollywood, and also guys who even were warning on Joe Rogan's podcast that this was bound to happen anytime now. So we're going to be looking at the tragic event, some glimmers of hope that happened in the wildfires as people rescued bunnies. But really, what does this mean for that influential place in the world? I mean, it's never going to be the same, and so many aspects of the modern American culture that's been dished out to the entire world lends credence to Hollywood and the values and beliefs that it pushes. So we're going to be looking at this and some possible connections with biblical prophecy in an interesting way, in my own personal opinions and thoughts. This week, we're also going to be covering the new change of administration and the rolling out of FDA Super Checks, right? Let's see what the government has approved for human consumption that is very quickly being banned in the public eye before the exit Biden administration. Just today, I see that the FDA has banned Red 3, which is used in a number of food and beverages. And I wonder if they're banning these products before the next RFK health administration comes into power, and if there's something to it. So these are some interesting aspects that we're going to be covering today. Not only that, there's some other world events that should catch your attention. Let's get into it. Let's start with our first video off right here. All right, so this is me trying to figure out if I should be ready for a war, aliens, or another pandemic. What'll it be? So this is how 2025 is starting off. We have part of the country burning down and the other part buried in snow. How interesting. Now, several episodes ago, I mentioned some interesting planetary alignments happening in the coming month and this year. And I wanted to point out this one that stood out to me. It's starting to line up right now in the month of January. And it is 6 planets have now aligned in the sky, beginning a 2-month-long grand alignment of planets. Soon it will turn into a 7-planet parade when Mercury joins this lineup. So while I don't know what the signs in the heavens mean, I know the scriptures talk about great signs happening. And while I can't be an interpreter of those signs because I don't know what it means, it's definitely interesting to see it happen. And so in hindsight, when we've seen stars and eclipses and things happen in the past, generally they act as precursors to world events if the Most High is using them as a message board, a prophetic message board, that is. And so very interesting. If you guys have any more information or interesting connections or perspectives on what the alignment means, or perhaps as the wandering stars pass through the various gates of the stars, what those passing through the various, things represent, you could share that in the comments below. I'd be very interested because, it's a crazy year. And, if it's not written in the heavens, then I don't know, and I'm wondering, could it be written in the heavens? Star alignments are not the only signs in the sky that we've been seeing this year. We had things like this blazing through the sky, and apparently this sign over California in 2024 that happened was not an alien invasion.
SpaceX launch earlier in the day. Those lights have been identified as a big pile of Chinese space junk coming back to Earth. All right, so we'll now know what was behind that spectacular shower of lights in the skies over California yesterday. So many people were asking, what is it? No, it was not an alien invasion. It was not a meteor. It had nothing to do with a SpaceX launch earlier in the day. Those lights have been identified as a big pile of Chinese space junk coming.
Big pile of Chinese space junk. So while that is a credible answer and it could be true, allegedly, it also makes me wonder if sometimes things happen in the sky like that, like weather balloons that are identified as one thing but are actually something else. And scripturally, prophetically, this is something that matters a lot to me as a person who believes the scripture is true, and the spirit of prophecy that's contained in it has been fairly accurate over the millennia, right? So whenever it comes to signs in the skies, we know in the book of Revelation, it talks about 1/3 of the stars falling from heaven. And when we see things like these orbs and these Chinese space junk, it gets me thinking. And so what we're going to talk about today is the fires in California and some possible kind of prophetic parallels with that situation there. With that said, let's go ahead and check out one more interesting sign in the sky that happened recently in Russia, a different type of sign in the sky. Maybe you'll find this interesting.
Поверить, мы... Лена Анатольевна, можно поверить, мы пошли погулять.
This is a giant cross appearing over a Orthodox church this previous
И вот здесь вот такое чудо.
What is the difference between these cross in the sky, which obviously was a sign in the heavens made by the architecture and the lights being played on the building, probably with intent, and the signs that we're seeing, like the wandering stars and how that, the interesting signs there. And then we're seeing fabricated signs such as these orbs that are being created by beings or entities or advanced technology. And then we're seeing things like burning space Chinese junk, all things in the heavens that, are catching my attention. And it's not so much that each and every one means something deep and profound. But what it is that I'm noticing a lot of more signs appearing than before. And what did these signs mean? I guess we'll find out. But here's one more type of sign that's appearing in the heavens that we need to be aware of. That's a fabrication. Now, I believe this is why the advent of AI is happening right now, because there are real signs, real supernatural, phenomena, things that should be catching our attention. And then false AI content is being disseminated on the internet to discredit and make this seem like not a big deal. It's all AI. It's all fake. Or is it? I mean, this clip here demonstrates how AI is being used already to deceive the masses or gaslight them, rather. So this is an obvious AI video. But we're seeing videos like this. They're, of course, piggybacking off of the viral topic of these orbs and UFO, UAP sightings. But this is an AI video, guys. And so your need for discernment in this day and age is greater than ever. Do you even know what AI versus real is anymore? And if you saw something real, do you know how to, it's a complicated topic, and we're being gaslit by AI and being numbed to things that a few years ago even would freak the whole world out. And everybody would have been up in arms for answers and questions and saying the sign is here. The signs of the age we live in are here. And yet, because we're so overstimulated by our media, we're numb. Really? I mean, are you numb to it? Ask yourself that question, and perhaps leave it in the comments below. What are some things that you might feel numb to today that 5-6 years ago would have shaken you, right? What are some things you've seen on the television or sign-wise in the sky that we have been gaslit into ignoring? Very important question. And of course, starting off the year, we have the wildfires in California. When you wanted 2025, LA is on fire. Conspiracy senses are tingling because LA. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. No surprise there. No surprise there. And we saw this imagery happening. So shocking, really. I mean, look at that apocalyptic imagery of the McCrispy happening in Hollywood. Man, I mean, judgment has definitely fallen on that area of the United States, and I know there's the good and bad, and it's, not to speak ill, but this definitely seems to have some parallels with some scriptural topics that we're going to be talking about today. Shocking prophetic message that was given by a pastor decades ago, and it's regarding the judgment of LA and Los Angeles. And we're going to look at some other varying types of prophetic messages that were all warning of the impending doom of Hollywood. And let's check this out.
Los Angeles. How you've exalted yourself into heaven, the very root and seat of Satan. See? You've exalted yourself. Preachers, it's a graveyard for them. Good men go there and die like rats. What happened? You to call yourself by the name of the angels. If the mighty works that have been done in Sodom have been done in you today, but your hour's come. You watch and see if it ain't I'm a false prophet. It will. Yeah. She's done. She's washed. She's finished. What hour? I don't know when, but it will be sunk.
Oh my. May God have mercy. This is just an eye-opener for the people of Los Angeles, because the bigger wrath is on the way. The prophet said that Los Angeles will go beneath the ocean because of its filth in Hollywood. We need to repent and give ourselves to God.
It'll be worse than the last day of Pompeii. Repent, Los Angeles! Repent, the rest of you, and turn to God. The hour of His wrath is upon the earth. Flee while there's time to flee, and come into Christ.
But it goes to show that the cultural impact of Hollywood has long been prophesied against by many men of faith in the modern age. Not to mention Jeremiah and I and some of the warnings and kind of eye-opening exposés that we've been sharing over the years with Skiba News Nation about Hollywood and its media leprechaun tricks that have made the world collectively sell our souls to the agendas that they hold valuable. And so this is a super important time to reflect. I mean, yes, there are other conspiracies regarding this, but ultimately Hollywood is no more as we will remember it in the past. And could this be a sign of the judgment of Most High on that city? Either that or it's all about Smart City 2028, right? We're seeing similar things with Maui, Paradise, and Los Angeles, with how these fires clear the area for development in a very interesting way. Now, it's not to say that they did not expect stuff like this to happen. Even Hollywood's been predicting Hollywood burning for many years. Check this clip out.
Oh, God! Oh, Sam, don't go on the grass! Not everybody on the grass!
All right, so that was footage Hollywood itself was putting into their films. That was the movie In the End. And then you compare it with the actual imagery of the Pacific Palisades. My goodness. Wow. California's burning. Now here's a comment from Mel Gibson on the fires.
The people you've lived next to for quite some time, how did they fare?
Yeah, some of the neighbors really got it hard. I know, Ed Harris, the actor who lives down the street, I think his place is gone, and many of my friends up and down the street. And it was kind of random. It wasn't every place, but it was quite a few places. There was a dozen places or so that were just non-existent. I mean, nothing but a chimney and a few roof tiles, and you dare not walk around for the nails and the whole deal. The vehicles were gone, everything. It was completely toasted. I've never seen such a complete burn. It's like someone did it on purpose to really destroy every aspect of it.
Very interesting things like this, that the water hydrants were all turned off, but unfortunately, it all led to the perfect storm where the water hydrants were turned off, the winds were just picking up and blasting that fire all over the area. There was no saving Hollywood as we know it. It was very ominous seeing the sky over Hollywood as it was burning. It looked like something in one of the films they produce. The sky was orange. Wow, what an apocalyptic scene to start 2025 off with. So here's why I shared all those clips of the fires. I know you guys have seen a lot of it already, but in all likelihood, I am very convinced that this was a terroristic attack, an intended controlled burn of the area for whatever reason by men with ulterior motives. And you can see some of the evidence of people who were actually arrested trying to set fire in a variety of locations, as well as looking at the overhead footage showing that the fires that burned Hollywood to the ground all started almost simultaneously in 3 different locations. I mean, check out this video, and if you're not convinced that, you know, men went out, set the fires, and started this whole thing in the first place, I don't know what to tell you, but it definitely looks like this was intended to happen. And whether these people, they're just ISIS terrorists or they're just nut jobs that were too high on whatever, you know, the people on the street got in Hollywood in the first place, check this out.
Put him down! He's starting a fire! We need to get that from him! Put it down! Put it down! Put it down right now! Put it down! Hey, on the fucking ground! On the fucking ground! Right now! What are you doing?
He started the West Hills fire because that was started at a parking lot. He's going to come over here.
Says my neighbor tried.
Oh my gosh. No, this is crazy. I can't even believe it because I'm like
a 30-year-old guy, you know.
Crazy because I'm like, how does a...
So this guy's filming somebody trying to set fires. Wow. My neighbor noticed someone trying to light our neighborhood on fire and called the police.
Oh my gosh. No, this is crazy.
This was coming out right when the situation of the burn, when the fire was happening.
I'm like, how does a fire jump literal cities?
I know, I can understand there, but all the way over
exactly.
to West Hills,
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
okay.
All right.
Thanks for letting me know, guys.
Very interesting. So what really is going on with these fires in LA? I mean, there's a lot of questions coming to mind. Is it the smart blue cities? I mean, oh man, check this out.
One's been tagging me. The first weird thing that I noticed is that insurance companies dropped fire coverage 3 months before the fire started, and many people have reported electrical wires from the power grid causing these fires. And of course, the water supply has been cut off. And don't you think it's a bit weird in this picture that all of the trees stay standing but the houses aren't? Of course, this is for educational purposes only, and I'm not claiming anything. And then we go to Google and type in 2028 Smart LA City. What a coincidence they want to build a smart city in LA. And of course, it's a lot easier to build a whole city if there's no buildings there. Of course, this is just for educational purposes only, and I hope everyone is safe over there. Thank you. I've noticed something a bit strange about the...
Now, of course, it's not just pastors and media predicting the burning of LA. A guy on Joe Rogan was literally saying it's bound to happen sometime. Check out this interview clip.
One of the reasons it freaked me out, and he was telling me, he goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind, and fire's going to start in the right place, and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean, and there's not a thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA, and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the wind's just blowing embers through the air, and those embers are landing on roofs, and those houses are going up, and they're landing on bushes, and those bushes are going up, and everything's dry. And once it happens in a way where it's so spread out that there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
You just have to evacuate, right?
Nothing they can do. I talked to a fireman once. This is one of the reasons that freaked me out. And he was telling me, he goes, dude, one day,
they knew it was happening. And here's a hero that emerged from the fires, a gentleman saving a bunny rabbit. It was quite the spectacle. Even the UFOs couldn't keep away from watching Hollywood burn. Check this clip out of a possible UFO seen flying off the ocean towards Los Angeles fires from a beach cam. You guys see that? It's like zooms through. Whoa. That doesn't look like an airplane to me. You know what I mean? Very interesting. Now, there's even some weird conspiracies coming out from people that lived there that were warning others there's something fishy about how the infrastructure is created to trap us and herd us like cattle when these events break out. Now, check out this guy's report.
Now, here's the one thing I'll tell you. The fire is, the valley is a square. The fire's connecting here, and now it's starting to connect here. So this is where I'm at, Tarzana. You got Woodland Hills to Panga Fire. Up here you have Hidden Hills that went from 1 acre to now 500 acres. The only gap in between those two things from connecting is Hidden Hills, and it's going to start to come to the valley, which means the 101, I know I'm coming. It means the 101 is going to be packed. The 118, the freeway above that is going to be packed. 405 is going to be packed. You're going to be boxed in. You're not going to be able to leave. Now here's the concern. In October 7th in Israel, everyone heard missiles. It was misdirection. They ran into bunkers, and then they got slaughtered in there. If you go to the freeway and you can't move, who knows how maybe they're trying to slaughter us. I don't know. This is obviously not normal. This is not an act of nature. This is some kind of terrorism. I'm not trying to scare you again, but try and connect dots, guys. If someone's doing this and they want to do maximum damage, they are strategically lighting fires that are not connected. That fire is not connected to the fire in Simi Valley. It is not connected to the fire in Hollywood Hills. And yet somehow people are lighting fires. Don't know what the intention is, but it sounds to be pretty calculated and very strategic. 20 cop cars that just came there. Now, here's the one thing I'll tell you. The fire is...
That's a testimony from a California resident, it looks like, validating that this is a intentional burn. So here's some connections I wanted to bring out that I think's fascinating. There's certain passages in the scripture that allude to Mystery Babylon. Revelation 18 covers the destruction of Mystery Babylon happening in a single day. And throughout the prophets, this Mystery Babylon, this future harlot and this city for which all the kings of the earth have committed whoredom, and through whose sorceries or pharmakia all the nations of the earth are deceived. There's destruction of Mystery Babylon in a single day, in a single hour. That the dragon hates this harlot woman and burns her with fire. While it might not be the prophetic fulfillment of Revelation 18, I do think it's interesting in the signs in the sky, the aliens, the destruction that's happening on these iconic American kind of centers of culture and media. Centers of Culture and Media, by which the 2020 V agenda was heavily pushed by that whole ilk of people. And through their media and content, that was promoted to the entire world. And so I'm just making some connections here with Mystery Babylon and Hollywood and wondering, could this be some type of fulfillment of biblical prophecy that we didn't necessarily expect, but is happening before our eyes? And I just want to present that because while it might not be, it could be. And I want to have the conversation. So if you see some connections and parallels with the scriptural destruction of Mystery Babylon and what has just happened with the burning of Hollywood Hills, California, then I would love to see your comments below and your opinion further on the matter. In some extremely pressing news that everyone needs to be aware of, crocodiles have now learned how to bait humans to come to their untimely death. Check this video out of crocodiles in
Indonesia have apparently learned how to pretend to be drowning to lure humans in who they view as prey, who they then obviously eat.
Yo, the fact that crocodiles are plotting and scheming like this is diabolical. I already knew they were sneaky. The way they be tucking in up under that water, so when you come for a sip, they got you. But the fact that they doing the help me please hands, crocodiles know how to do the help me please hands. Oh, it's crazy out here, man. Where Crocodile Dundee at, man? We need you.
These saltwater crocodiles in Indonesia have apparently learned how to pretend.
The help me please hands. These crocodiles doing help me please hands. Oh, Lord, help us. Oh, man. Yeah, watch out. Crocodiles are suspicious. Maybe crocodiles have been the lizard people all along, Jeremiah. Talking about lizard people, apparently they want to turn our children into such with all the things they're giving them and scheduled, things, trips to places and people wearing white. Check this clip out. Very alarming.
Leukemia, but like adult grown-up cancers, like colon cancer. We're seeing young kids getting cancer now. Not the typical kid cancers like leukemia, but like adult grown-up cancers.
And it's the root cause of that our food?
100%. Type 2 diabetes. When I went to medical school, Louis, which I'm ancient, but not that old, right? I'm going to be 65 next month. There was nothing that was called type 2 diabetes. It was called adult onset and juvenile onset. Juvenile onset is basically an autoimmune disease requiring insulin. Type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disease because of too much sugar. Now they threw out those terms because kids as young as 2 or 3 years old are getting type 2 diabetes. Kids as young as 15 are needing liver transplants from drinking soda.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a big problem. We're seeing autoimmune diseases, 100% increase in autoimmune diseases. We're seeing 100% increases in mental illness. Right?
What illness?
Mental illness, depression, anxiety, especially in kids. 20% of kids have some type of mental illness, autism, ADD, depression, anxiety. We've seen the rates of autism go up 1,000%. We've seen digestive issues go up doubling to 100% increase. So we've seen dementia go up 150%. And we're spending more and more money. And we're getting worse and worse and worse. And we're spending more and more on drugs. That's even the other thing that's sort of shocking to me.
How much are we spending on drugs a year?
It's collectively, I haven't done the math, but just for example, just statins alone is almost a $40 billion a year industry. That's the number one selling class of drugs. But if you look at the drugs that are sold, it's the lifestyle drugs we're selling. Heart disease prevention like statins, acid blocking drugs, mental health drugs, which are often lifestyle related. Now we understand there's a whole role of nutritional psychiatry, metabolic psychiatry, you had Casey Means on the show, but she talks about brain energy, but Christopher Palmer, who's a psychiatrist, talks about brain energy, how the loss of metabolic health in the brain causes psychiatric illnesses, everything from depression to bipolar disease to schizophrenia to autism. So these are things
and brain health is affected by what we eat also, right?
100%. 100%. The brain is says a famous saying in medicine, psychiatrists pay no attention to the brain and neurologists pay no attention to the mind, right? And so they're connected. And often the mind doesn't work because the brain's not working. And the brain's not working because in large part we're eating a diet It's full of sugar and starch that causes insulin resistance in the brain. It creates a metabolic crisis in the brain. It creates inflammation in the brain. And all these diseases are inflammatory diseases, even things that aren't like allergies and autoimmune disease. And we've seen allergy rates go up dramatically in kids. And we've seen all these problems, and we're spending more and more on all these drugs. We're spending more and more. Like we've seen a 400% increase in the use of diabetes drugs, a 300% increase in the use of cardiovascular drugs. We've seen a 400% use of psychiatric drugs increase. We've seen increasing cancer therapies, and 500% increase in the use of autoimmune drugs. And respiratory drugs, 200%, pain drugs, 400%, GI drugs, 300% increase. So we're pouring more and more drugs on everybody. We're getting sicker and sicker. We're spending more and more money. It's $1 to $5 in our economy.
Wow.
And nobody's asking why.
By whose sorceries, pharmakia, all nations were deceived. How interesting. It makes me wonder, through Hollywood, what is the direct connection with Big Pharma and the influence and amount that media has been turned out. And one more interesting clip happening in the skies above us. What looks to be a angelic battle. Very interesting. Check this clip out. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this special coverage of the fire in California and its interesting connections with certain conspiracies. Oh yeah, guys, and don't forget, go over to tribethegame.net. I have only a few copies of my limited first edition Tribe the board game, now including my custom warrior pawns that make it really fun to play with. So jump over to tribethegame.net and check out my board game. I would really love it if a couple more of our audience members were able to get their hands on this game, and then we could organize a tribe tournament. And
I'd
of
be
course,
there.
if you're interested in learning how to play, you'd be there? Oh,
Yeah.
Thanks, man. That would be sweet.
I mean, that's one of the coolest things I've ever got as a gift was that game with the little figures. Like, dude, everybody needs one of these games. If you're a game family, say the power goes out, it's the perfect game for that, in my opinion. So, it's in the description. Definitely get yours.
Thanks for your endorsement, Jeremiah. That's all for this week.
Thank you, Jake, for another great current news as always. Now, a quick look at the Babylon Rising bookstore.
Check out our new and improved BabylonRisingBooks.com, where you can get Rob Skiba's books, bundles, DVDs, DVD-ROMs, videos, and so much more. You can even get Sheila and Jeremiah's books, so check it out now.
It's about that time for all new Opa's Corner. Take it away, Opa. Mustache wouldn't stick.
Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut.
The strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. These are the kinds of subjects a man named Robert L. Ripley challenged us to believe it or not.
Believe it or not, you.
Wally, believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
Believe it!
You're a loony.
The name of the patient in Operation Board Game is Cavity Sam. Believe it or not. President William McKinley was shot right after giving away his good luck charm. Believe it or not, Joaquin Garcia from Spain skipped work for 6 years unnoticed, collecting his salary until he was discovered when nominated for a service award. Believe it or not, 11-year-old Florida girl Sana Hiremath is able to solve 12-digit multiplication problems mentally without the use of pen, paper, or calculator. Believe it or not, the first pregnant character to ever appear in an animated Disney film was Chicha in The Emperor's New Groove, released in 2000.
I love that movie.
Believe it or not, in July 2020, a Burmese cat in Australia named Oscar survived a 12-minute cycle in a washing machine.
Oh my gosh.
Believe it or not, bats make up more than 20% of the world's mammals. Believe it or not, U.S. paper money is not paper. It is 1/4 linen and 3/4 cotton. Believe it or not, Icelandic phone directories list Icelanders alphabetically by their first name rather than their last name. Believe it or not, late cowboy actor John Wayne's voice was used in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Believe it or not, in her role in the 1963 film Cleopatra, Elizabeth Taylor became the first actress to earn $1 million for a movie role. Believe it or not, U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt's oldest daughter, Alice Roosevelt Longsworth, lived for 96 years and through the administrations of 18 presidents.
Wow.
From Chester Arthur to Jimmy Carter. Believe it or not, PepsiCo has hundreds of patents, including one for a tennis racket. Believe it or not, the fastest known English speaker in the world is Canadian Sean Shannon, who can talk at a speed of 655 words per minute. Believe it or not, the city of Middlesboro, Kentucky is built entirely inside a 3.7-mile wide meteorite crater. Believe it or not, in 2019, Beth Bays of Huddleston, Virginia, built a 15-foot-tall recreation of country singer Willie Nelson out of hay, dubbed Willie Hay Nelson. Believe it or not, Ben Franklin's glass harmonica, which he invented in the 1760s, was so popular in Europe that both Mozart and Beethoven composed music for it, but it virtually vanished from existence by the 1820s. Believe it or not. There are no muscles in your fingers. Believe it or not. There are more bicycles in Amsterdam than people. Believe it or not. With steel scarce during the World Wars, the U.S. constructed ships of concrete. Believe it or not. If you think you're too small to be effective, you've never been in the dark with a mosquito. Taking naps sounds so childish. I prefer to call them horizontal life pauses. I walk around like everything's fine, but deep down inside my shoe, my sock is sliding off. If we're not meant to have midnight snacks, why is there a light in the fridge? Doing nothing is very hard to do. You never know when you're finished. My keyboard must be broken. I keep hitting the escape key, but I'm still at work. People say nothing is impossible, but I do nothing every day. I always wanted to be somebody, but now I realize I should have been a little more specific. When I was a child, my mother told me I could be anyone I wanted to be. It turns out the police call this identity theft. The shovel was a groundbreaking invention. I had a Russian Uber driver yesterday. His name was Pickup and Drop-Off. I ordered a book about how to scam people 5 months ago. It still hasn't come yet. It must be stressful working at an unemployment office, knowing that if you get fired, you still have to show up the next day. Show me a man with his head held high, and I'll show you a man having trouble with his bifocals. If at first you don't succeed, look in the trash for instructions. In the original Superman TV series intro, the guy who thought it was a bird, what was he so excited about? I often wonder if all the other trees in the forest are jealous of popular trees. You know, it's bad luck to be superstitious. Dyslexics of the world, untie. Yep. I tried being a photographer, but I couldn't focus. Wizard of old. I need a new heart. I need a new knee. I need a hip replacement. World's most obnoxious gas pump. Pull out card rapidly. Not that rapidly. Jeez. Card denied. Nah, just kidding. To get gas, try one of our burritos. But seriously. Ma'am, if you're not going to pay to watch the in-flight movie, we ask that you wear this hood. Cartoon Patrol. We're shutting down this cartoon due to a worldwide oversupply of desert island gags. You and the chicken need to come with us. Primitive Fandango. Cosmetic surgery. Eyeliner. What they'll never understand is we just crossed the road. That's all. No reason, no mystery, no riddle. Yeah, they'll never believe it anyway. You got that right. Custer's last grand. Here's $1,000 to cover expenses at Little Bighorn. Don just wasn't working out as a spotter for the gymnastics team. There she is, right there, about 4 feet from me. Whoomph. Ziff Realty. And is just minutes away from the airport. Be careful of that pile of guitars there by the door. I'm running out of room to keep all these instruments. Al's air guitar repair. Some friends from your regular bench in the park are here to see you, Mr. Fegler. Look, I know you folks are looking for revenge, but there'll be no pie for a pie justice in my town. This is the life. I'm never traveling economy again. And now, without further ado, let's bring him on. The hardest working doctor in medicine. The physician on a mission. The Marquis MD. Put your hands together. Give it up. Not what the curtain is for. Okay. I'll tap zebras near me, but I swear, this is ruining our survival skills. After convincing his competitors that being early to bed and early to rise would make them healthy, wealthy, and wise, Ben Franklin stayed up all night working on his next invention. Bifocals? That's brilliant! Dang you, Franklin! Where do you find the time to invent stuff like this? Shuffle, brawl, melee, altercation. Hold it right there, stranger. Them's fighting words. Many hardware stores now provide sketch artists to help their customers recall the part they need. Yes, that's it, but there's a little clampy thing on the top. Just nibble it first. But when you hear them yell, piranha, go for it. The Dam Bursts. Institute for the Study of Migraine Headaches. Floyd School for Marching Bands. Rummage sale, 9 to 5. Psst, Bill. The sale's going great, but we're getting low on stuff. Make another run to the landfill and bring back whatever you can get your hands on. Oh, I see. You return covered with blonde feathers, and I'm supposed to believe you crossed the road just to get to the other side. Well, that's how it happened, Sylvia. Kiss the frog, he turned into a prince, we get married, and wham! I'm stuck at home with a bunch of pollywogs. And so, please welcome one of this cartoon's most esteemed science-like characters, Professor Boris Needleman, here to present his paper, Beyond the Border, Analysis, Statistical Probability, and Speculation of the Existence of Other Cartoons on the Known Comics Page. We used up our planet's energy source, and we're here to hijack yours. Where do you keep all your coffee? Airport security. They won't let me through security until I remove the bullets from my Word document. Professor Wainwright's painstaking field research to decode the language of bears comes to a sudden and horrific end. Arrgh! 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 Zipper? Zippy? Zippoo? This is hard. Zippa? Zippoo? Zipper? Yeah, zipper! That's it! Zipper! The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. Stealth fighters don't get much better than this. Yesterday I was washing the car with my son. He said, "Why can't you just use a sponge like a normal dad?" I before E, except after C, disproved by science. Never iron a 4-leaf clover. You don't want to press your luck. And that concludes another Opa's Corner.
Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut.
Opa's Corner is now available on my own YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you, Opa, for another great Opa's Corner. Now, this week's History's Mysteries is brought to you by JJ. And it's
Finally here at a very special location. Skiba News Nation has had a long-time sponsor, and I'm happy to be here in person at JJ's CBD Hemp Shop. What's up, bro?
Hey, welcome to Family Ties Apothecary. Started a brick and mortar. I do everything myself and grow all the hemp that I make in my rub, and from start to finish, farm to bottle.
Let's go get one of JJ's special drinks.
The best. Small batch kombucha, lemonade, or apple cider drinks that we mix with our CBD. We have water-soluble drinks where you can have a drink and not have to have alcohol in it and have a good time.
Now guys, go visit JJ's shop if you're up here in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin.
Health advocacy line that have a specialist here at 920-219-9169. If you guys want to call, we can address your ailments and I can recommend things to help you out. And that would be great. Look forward to hearing from you guys.
So everybody go check out jjcbdrub.com, and he's got all kinds of stuff. So go check out his website or call that number. And it's about that time for an all-new History's Mysteries. So today for History's Mysteries, we're going to be talking about one of the most asked and suggested things that I should cover. And my dad talked about it. We even talked about it in episode 8 briefly. But this week we're going to be talking about the dark secrets of the Bush family. So let's go ahead and play this first intro clip.
We have before us the opportunity to forge a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
They're known as one of the most influential families in American politics. A true political dynasty built on money, power, and secrets. But the Bush family is a lot weirder than you think. Behind glowing TV interviews and a carefully crafted public image lies a seriously dark and shady family with long-standing connections to the deep state and shadowy secret societies such as Skull and Bones and Bohemian Grove.
You fired me once again!
Could Barbra Bush really be the daughter of Aleister Crowley? What's with the fetus kept preserved in a jar?
You showed him the fetus in the jar.
No, really, the
touched on it before.
And why were children trafficked into H.W. Bush's White House?
For using the services of a callboy ring. Callboy ring. For giving a late-night tour of the White House last year.
What is the real truth behind the Bush's all-American facade? Join me as we explore the dark side of the Bush family the mainstream media won't show you.
So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. So let's start with this next clip, talking about the origins of how the Bush family gained power, like what made them so successful. And, you know, many people think that Freemasons are the most evil secret society, but the one we should fear is the one that we're going to be talking about most. So let's check this out.
For 3 generations, the Bush family has pledged a secret oath to a mysterious order known as the Skull and Bones. It's one of the most exclusive and notorious secret societies in the world, recruiting the elite of the elite from among the junior ranks of Yale University. Skull and Bones is a satanic death cult for bloodline families, formerly known as the Brotherhood of Death, and it certainly lives up to its namesake. Every year when new members are initiated, screams and chanting are heard echoing from the society's secured compound called the Tomb.
He was part of a team that successfully recorded part of the initiation ceremony that takes place in the Tomb's courtyard. And what did you hear? What was it you know? You managed to get this unique
it was
access to it.
disgusting. It was gross. I mean, they were pretending to murder people. And
What was the tone of it though? Was it jokey or was it
vicious.
quite...
No, it wasn't jokey at all. It was sick. It's about the only way I can describe it. It was sick.
What you're hearing is the first recording ever made of the Skull and Bones initiation ceremony. It has never been broadcast before. 15 new members of the club are being introduced into the macabre rituals of Skull and Bones by the senior students who are about to graduate. The club has what some might see as a strange fascination with death, skulls and bones. There's the chants too, difficult to hear first of all, but including the devil equals death and death equals death.
During the initiation, ritual members are forced to kiss the skull of Geronimo. Then drink what they claim to be fake blood from a skull.
The daring student was surprised by what he saw inside the fountain.
There was actually some sort of red residue in the fountain, which I imagined to be blood. But I have a feeling they do some strange rituals with the fountain. These two skeletons look like they're hushing people in some way.
During their initiation, candidates must recount all their sexual exploits. Finally, they are expected to perform various oaths, kiss some feet, and drink blood. They then have to lie naked in a coffin, and, after masturbating in full view of the others, swear to never reveal their membership of the order.
The Skull and Bones initiation process featured prominently in the 2006 movie The Good Shepherd, starring Matt Damon.
Skull and Bones, accept or reject? Accept.
But few Americans realize that both father and son have already taken an oath to a mysterious and powerful secret society known as Skull and Bones.
George H.W.'s father, Prescott, was the first generation of Bushes to be tapped to join. Prescott made millions funding Hitler during World War II, directly profiting from concentration camp slave labor.
I became the first journalist in U.S. history to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt or any refutation of the facts that Prescott Bush, the grandfather of George W. Bush, and George Herbert Walker, his maternal great-grandfather for whom his daddy is named, were Nazi traitors to the country who should have been tried for treason.
It was he who ransacked the grave of Native American legend Apache Chief Geronimo and took his skull back to Skull and Bones headquarters, where it has been used for their rituals ever since. Among the other items found at the tomb are genuine Nazi relics and occult regalia.
Alexandra Robbins, a Yale graduate and author of a book on the subject, stated that the society owns a valuable collection of Nazi objects and memorabilia, and eats its dinners off Hitler's private silver service. A large part of their liturgy is written in German.
So very creepy, and we're just getting started. And this next thing we're going to talk about, we'll be getting into this woman later, but it all has to do with Barbara Bush and Aleister Crowley. So check this out.
But if you thought that was weird, the Bush family is about to get a lot more bizarre. For years, rumors have swirled among alternative researchers that Barbara Bush, George W.'s mother, could be the daughter of Aleister Crowley, the notorious 20th century occultist admired by the satanic elite. The notion is roundly ridiculed by mainstream sources. However, the historical circumstances are nonetheless correct for this to have occurred, so much so that a British documentary about Crowley entitled In Search of the Great Beast devoted a segment to the rumor and explains how Barbara Bush's mother met Aleister Crowley. Not long afterwards, she was pregnant with Barbara, who bears a striking resemblance to Crowley.
By 1924, Crowley was living in poverty in France. An old friend and famous literary figure and occultist, Frank Harris, kindly took him under his roof. Frank Harris lived with a woman by the name of Nellie O'Hara. If what has been written in later years can be believed, Nellie had a friend in America, Pauline Pierce, who was married to Marvin Pierce, head of the McCall Corporation. In early 1924, Pauline traveled to France to stay with her friend. Thus it was that four individuals came together: Frank Harris, Nellie O'Hara, Pauline Pierce, and Aleister Crowley. According to Crowley's diaries, during this period in Paris, Crowley underwent the supreme ordeal, linked with his realization of the grade of ipsissimus. According to a description of the rite, on the appointed day, the candidate is attended by one or more chosen and experienced attendants whose duty is A. to exhaust him sexually by every known means, B. to rouse him sexually by every known means. Every device and artifice of the courtesan is to be employed, and every stimulant known to the physician. If Crowley did go through this ordeal in 1924, then it is highly likely, based on his previous experiences, that his closest associates of that time, including Nellie and Pauline, performed as his magical assistants. Pauline Pierce returned to America in early October of 1924. 8 months later, on June the 8th, 1925, she gave birth to a girl named Barbra. Barbra Pierce married George H.W. Bush, who eventually became the 41st President of the United States, and they had a son, George W. Bush, the 43rd President of the United States. Could the wickedest man in the world, Aleister Crowley, be George W. Bush's grandfather?
Fantastic audience we had tonight. Washington power brokers, celebrities, Hollywood stars, Ozzy Osbourne. Okay, Ozzy. Might have been a mistake. The thing about Ozzy is he's made a lot of big hit recordings. Party with the Animals, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Facing Hell, Black Skies, and Bloodbath in Paradise. Ozzy, Mom loves your stuff.
Mr. Crowley, what went on in your head?
For most women, a miscarriage is a devastating and deeply personal experience. But Barbra Bush crossed the line into the macabre when she kept her miscarried fetus preserved in a jar and casually showed it off to her sons.
Also disclose, Barbara, George discloses something very personal about you, which he says you gave him special permission to write about. He wrote that when you once had a miscarriage, you showed him the fetus in the jar.
No.
He wrote that when you once had a miscarriage, you showed him the fetus in the jar. You showed him the fetus in the jar. You showed him the fetus in the jar. You showed him the fetus in the jar.
George, Paula put it in a jar, and I was shocked when she gave it to him but your memories dim a little bit, but anyway, but he was very...
Shocked that he put it in the book.
No, he asked permission, and I gave him permission if it's his book, and I think he was trying to say that he and I have a very special relationship.
That he and I have a very special relationship. That he and I have a very special relationship.
We tease all the time, and that's not very nice for me, but you know, you gotta tease a little bit. And he teases me unmercifully, but we're very close.
He teases me unmercifully, but we're very close. He teases me unmercifully, but we're very close.
And my mom's what I learned was she's a straightforward person. She says to her teenage kid, here's a fetus. Kid, here's a fetus.
Who else but Aleister Crowley's daughter would keep their own fetus displayed in a jar?
What kind of sick people are these people? Like, well, we'll get back to Barbra kind of at the end. But now let's talk about Daddy Bush, as my dad called him, and talk about his connection with one of my favorite conspiracies of all time, the JFK assassination. So check this out.
November 22nd, 1963. The day no American alive will ever forget. The news blasted across every radio bulletin in the nation, and soon the world.
This is Edwin Newman in the NBC newsroom in New York. This information from Dallas. 2 priests who were with President Kennedy say he is dead of bullet wounds. This is the latest information we have from Dallas.
President John F. Kennedy had been shot dead in Dallas, Texas. The nation was stunned. No one could forget where they were that day. No one except for George Bush Sr., that is, who conveniently claims he doesn't remember where he was that fateful day. Convenient because a picture taken at the scene shows a man bearing a likeness to him outside of the schoolbook depository. Bush claims he wasn't in the CIA at the time of the Kennedy assassination, but a declassified FBI memo from 1963 names a, quote, George Bush of the CIA. When asked about the memo, he replied, it must have been some other George Bush. Please. Kennedy had vowed to destroy the CIA, break it into 1,000 pieces, and scatter it to the wind. Later at LBJ's memorial, Bush couldn't restrain a laugh as he referred to the deranged gunman who supposedly shot Kennedy.
America. After a deluded gunman assassinated President Kennedy, a deluded gunman.
That's appropriate.
Today, far from sitting on the sidelines, the Bushes are still a powerful Illuminati bloodline family, known to attend Bohemian Grove rituals and wield a great deal of power within the deep state.
So, Jake, what are your thoughts up to this point before I blow your mind with something else?
And it is so telling, those connections they make with Aleister Crowley and his helper, who eventually could have been Barbara Bush's mother. And what it does is, I think it unveils the cover of truly how the deep state can operate. I mean, I remember Bush as the gung-ho, hoorah, Republican, conservative president going to rescue America from the terrorists as a child. But to find out their deep connections with these occult ritual practices, I think shows a layer of our American government system that is appalling and shocking. And I think there's going to be a lot to tell in a few weeks, man, after Donald Trump enters into his second term. And we're going to see, you know, is this information outed of the truly deep state, of the people influencing and affecting our culture and our world for the evil parts of society. Like, man, I hope light is shed on all this kind of stuff, because it's terrible. But man, you almost can't even dwell on some of those historical details because they're so evil and awful, those people, and just, you don't want to be thinking on that kind of stuff all the time, or that'll mess you up.
Yeah, well, you know, there's so much perversion that happens in these Skull and Bones secret societies, Bohemian Grove, and all that stuff.
The satanic kind of perspective of the world order, and those who have fooled themselves into worshiping whatever inverse deity they've come up with in their own minds, they often invert the world, like the kind of the standard traditional biblical order of things as defined by the Almighty. So they're inverting it. So that's why you see a lot of cross-dressing and a lot of things like that in those upper echelons of power of the occult, is because they're kind of emulating this inverted world order where they're, putting the matriarchy on top, which ties back to some interesting things we even discussed with Gary Wayne. So you guys should definitely check out that interview, because we dive into all types of things that connect with what Jeremiah is sharing with us today.
Do you think, what do you think is more likely, the Aleister Crowley or that Barbra is a man?
Yeah, I lean closer to the Aleister Crowley theory, but I'll tell you this: if the Aleister Crowley theory is false, I would say that, a possible, or a mimicry of a woman is coming about, because I really am suspicious about the case for Michelle or Michael Obama, and there's a lot of fakes that flop around, if you know what I mean, that catch the eye and are hard to dismiss as just wardrobe malfunctions.
Right.
So,
well, that's all.
But yeah, so it's either or. I think it's got to be one or the other.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Okay. Good to know. Opa, what do you think?
I think she's an alien.
Oh, there's another perspective.
Sweet. Well, you guys let me know in the comment section what you think. If there's any other Bush stuff that I should check out. I know Shay, big shout out to him because he always shares the coolest things about the Bush family and Waco and other things. So yeah, that's all I got about the Bush family. But now it's time for Volume 9 of Please Excuse My Sense of Humor. Enjoy.
It's your hair, man.
Like he's one of the family. Charles in charge of our days and our nights.
I left around in the physical realm, and I put on the faces I talk.
Hi, my name's Bill. I'm 33. I like curvy girls. I have a dog. Her name is Precious. She's my world. My hobbies include midnight strolls, collecting insects, kind of nerdy, I know, but it's
That's
what
why
I'm
you
into.
don't engage in
Or
those
making
type
my own
of,
clothing and dancing when nobody's looking. Dry skin
never
is
know
a
who'll
deal
catch
breaker. Hell, Love Bath and Body works for the sole reason that their lotion comes in a basket. And finally, I date.
Now I love Elvis, but I had to.
Selling cocaine in this world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all that trapping sure would help a lot. But wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody sells cocaine. Boom, 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 and they're always glad you came.
I want to meet that guy. Making my cat do an interpretive dance for his treats. That's what I make Charlie do every time he gets treats.
You promise that you will not ask me another question about the case?
I will never ask you again.
We won't have to talk about it anymore.
Just did you do it?
No, I didn't. Nope. Did not do it.
After we finished filming, OJ said to me that he had a surprise for me, and I genuinely was surprised. I think it was his idea of a joke. And this is it.
I don't tell her without juice and topping this out my lifestyle. I don't tell her but truly, I don't even know if you go without the beginning.
Get him a record deal.
What makes you unique apart from being a good leader?
Music is my soul. Music's the way I express. It's my religion.
Why don't you show us what you're talking about?
Everything's a reflection of this.
What the bloody hell was that?
That's me.
It was almost non-human.
I reflected in music.
No.
When you reflect that, you reflect music.
What do you think that your best feature is? I mean, you're a big back, you're good run back, basic.
There's a man in New Orleans who plays a rock and roll. He's a guitar man with a great piece hole. He lays on a beat like a ton of coal. He goes by the name of a king. He goes jumping like catfish on a pole. Yeah, you know he's gone. He's taking King Creole. When the king starts to do it, it's a good stunt. He holds his head just like a tool. He started to roll from a stroll. Bands and swing and that's all she wrote. He knows he gone jumping like catfish on a pole.
Come on, slide.
You know he's gone. Keep shaking King Creole.
Brian! 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 We know you was at them Diddy parties, nigga! We know you was there! We know you was at them Diddy parties!
Oh, hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
But you love to party.
I love this.
I mean, what's not to love?
How do
Especially
you...
when you see how I party, man. It was epic. The run I was on made Sinatra, Flynn, Jagger, Richards, all of them just look like, you know, droopy-eyed, armless children.
At first glance, taking this tomato down through these spinning fan blades may seem impossible, but I'm here to show you it's not. This must be done all in one motion. Okay, guys, watch me go to work.
Are there any rock lyrics, Mr. Zappa, that you have heard in the past couple of years that you wouldn't want your children listening to?
We are the world.
Pay more at the grocer, but getting less will tell you how to get the most. The fuck are you doing? We need to acknowledge an unfortunate mistake that I made, and one of the teases we bring to you before this program. While we were live, just after 10 o'clock, I said a word that many people find offensive.
I love Lenny Kravitz too. I'm sorry. Please excuse my sense of humor. Jake, what was your favorite one?
Oh, there were just too many good ones, buddy.
Oppo, what was your favorite?
The last one.
That's messed up. No. Guys, please excuse my sense of humor, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you didn't, I'm sorry. Anyways, I want to introduce you guys to somebody named Kristen, who's one of the biggest forces behind Skiba News Nation. This is Kristen. She helps us get all the big guests. I understand that you're doing this full time now, so how can people find out how to use your service?
Well, I started Fellow Helper Agency, and you can go to fellowhelperagency.com. And I do any of the behind the scenes, email, getting the interviews, and I do prep work for the shows as well. I do timestamps and moderating.
She is the best with connects. If you like any of our shows, any of our big guests, she's the person to go to. And if you have a channel, definitely go to our website. So thank you, Jake, for another great current news and memes as always. Opa, thank you for another great Opa's Corner. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's History's Mysteries segment and the episode as a whole. Stay awake, not woke, subscribe, and stay tuned. If you like what we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe. And also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation, go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Son of the legendary Ross Jeremiah Skiba.
It's like they don't even want to wake up.